Tell me, though, what's his technique? That last strike, it seems invincible.
Hello and welcome to Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist podcast. My name is Connor.
I'm Rebecca.
I'm Omar.
I'm Emma.
Yay, we're joined by Emma, who was here before for those really bloated issues of Heroes for Hire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Glad to be back.
I wasn't there too. So I think it was just you, Connor, and Emma
Carl.
and Carl. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, no, that was really great. So thanks for coming back
Yeah, of course.
for this momentous occasion. But first, I would like to thank our patrons. So Ray and Derek, thanks very much, guys. You can check out Ray on Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. You can also check out Rebecca there. And you can also check out Derek on TV Podcast Industries. I hope you guys are enjoying the show right now. So, yeah, we're here to talk about the new issue of Iron Fist, which Carl insists has a car tire in the logo. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't see
Car
as much
tire?
as Carl does.
If it wasn't...
It's the thing that I think it looks like a bird's nest.
that it
Now
does.
that you
It looks
mention
way
it,
more
it
like a bird's nest. Oh.
It definitely does, yeah.
That's true. It does look like it. Yeah, it's a car tire, a bird's nest, and Dragon Balls as well.
It's like one of those things they hold up and you have to tell them what it is. It says something
Yeah.
about your psyche.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, so the cover it's a cool cover. It's Iron Fist and Linley fighting demons.
Yes.
I really like this cover.
Yeah.
I think this is my favorite. Having seen everything we have through the solicitations, I think this is my favorite cover.
Yeah.
I agree,
Yeah,
actually.
that's right. This is Laney Liu. He's Filipino,
Yeah.
and I see him every now and then. He's a pretty good guy, very good guy.
Yeah, he's a good artist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I think it's
Oh, you know
interesting
what?
that...
That tire thing is also on the new Iron Fist belt.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm guessing that's what it's supposed to be.
Okay. Yeah.
Take
I
that,
think
Somebody
Carl.
figure it out.
I think it's interesting
ever
that Danny's in... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's interesting that Danny is in his original costume here.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
kind of like it. I think that's kind of a neat choice.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was
I think
pretty
he's
safe.
got less than a bit. I think he's got a slightly hairy chest as well, which is unusual.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just saying it looks a
Good
little
hair.
bit. Doesn't look quite as
I don't think hair would be able to grow where...
under the brand. No, I don't think
Yeah.
so. But around the
Yeah.
brand, maybe now he's not.
Around
maybe now
it,
he's
yeah.
off duty. He's not, shaving as much or something.
Maybe
Who
the
knows?
chi was stopping it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a safe bet, I think, that the cover wouldn't be accurate to the issue inside, because it would have been odd if Danny had his
Mhm.
costume in Iron Fist back in issue 2.
Yeah.
But-
would have been nice.
Yeah, so Alyssa Wong is the writer, Michael YG and Sean Chen are the pencilers, Michael YG and Victor Olazaba are the inkers, J. David Ramos is the colorist. Apologies to J. David Ramos, who didn't really call out as much as we should have the previous issue, because colors are important. And VC's Travis Lannon are the letterers. And as Lennon Francis Yu is the cover artist, along with Sonny Go, and Jim Chung and J. David Ramos is the variant cover artist.
It's an all-Asian group that they have here. I'm not so sure about Victor Olazaba and Travis Lanham, but J. David Ramos
Travis Lanham probably isn't, but yeah. They, I
Yeah.
think they've been quite good at trying to do that with their with some of their titles now.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember they did Alpha Flight about True North about 2 years ago. They tried, just putting together all Canadian cast. I think they failed at just one, but it was a pretty good issue. It was all Canadian, so it was all hard.
That's cool.
I like the opening page we have here of a prospective Iron Fist fighting Xiao Lu, however you want to pronounce it. I don't think anyone's settled on a pronunciation yet.
No.
Any sort of it's just talking about fear and stuff and the dragon, and but he leaps. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the leap. I get it; it's stylistic, but you know me.
It's nicely stylistic.
I like my grounded stuff, even though it's a magic dragon. But you know that he punches through it, which is pretty gnarly. It's like his hand must be.
I really like this page, and I really like the issue overall. But I love this page because I do think fear. I think in this particular the Iron Fist origin story in general, and in this type of fight, is I think a factor that I've always been really fascinated by. And particularly now that we have an Iron Fist who didn't do this. I think it's really nice that we have this opening scene showing what the experience is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And really getting in there with the realities of, this is a really, really, really difficult thing to do.
The dragon's not easy.
Yeah.
I'm talking of when Connor was talking about the colours earlier. This is a beautiful set of colours on this page, just bringing it all to life. From some of the sort of pastel oranges through to the really dark cave.
There's something really satisfying about that fist going into the scaly dragon.
Yeah,
but it's also a huge change because usually the heart of the dragon is is like in a cauldron or something.
Yeah,
not directly in Shaolao.
That's true, and he's getting the brand, so obviously he's. Yeah, because usually you get the brand because it burns onto you when you press your body to it. That's why I always thought it was funny that kid had the brand on his head.
Maybe the dragon fell on there.
So not quite accurate, but a cool set piece nonetheless.
Yeah.
You know, I still prefer it to that Iron Fist of 10 million BC or whatever, where they just sort of went through its skull. I hated that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I like this guy's beard.
He looks a lot like Puck from Alpha Flight. So,
maybe
even
it's
the
the same
size.
guy.
But yeah, it's different.
Yeah,
it's the same. I'm calling it.
Just looks like it.
I don't know. Puck's chunkier, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I said human shape, but Puck is chunky.
Yes, he is.
So then we get to Shanghai, where Mei Min is joining Lin Lei on a sojourn into our Earth. Does anyone else find it kind of annoying? Is it just me?
I just find it weird. I just find the whole thing just that we've been thrown into something that we don't really know the dynamic of, and we're being expected to I find everyone annoying at times, so probably, but I think more it's just we're expected to buy this friendship and this that we don't have any background to, and they keep trying to explain it, and I keep not being fully on board.
Yeah, this
it's a bit different.
Then that's a thing that will come back later in the issue, is that these characters just kind of pop up with very little context, and you have to assume a lot. And I really want to like May, but we just know very little about her, and maybe that's the point. I don't know. I don't know. I wonder. But it's I wish I was more into this friendship, because she seems like a really cool character. But with more setup. could be more compelling.
Maybe she'll be.
I do like Lynn pulling like skulls apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Melting demons and stuff.
He just tore it out of there.
I mean, yeah, it's actually like ultra violent. It's just it's the demons. So if there were people, it'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a good thing these are demons, so we're good. We wouldn't have passed the Comics Code Authority from the 80s, though.
Yeah.
Mm.
And because, it's still blood red. I mean, when he pulls it out, there's still blood oozing out of him. It's a good-looking page. Good splash page, I'd say.
Yeah, I like that page. The next page, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing with Michael YG, I think, whenever he's drawing Lin Lee and Mei Min, it works. He's good with the characters. He's good with these demons. The only time my opinion changes is when he's drawing Danny and the gang.
Well, we also have two pencilers this issue as well, so
yeah, that might be why.
It's a
but
jarring...
I just mean the next page is like them having this conversation while they're fighting.
Yeah,
felt pretty stilted.
I think it's after they're fighting, right?
Well, no, because they're still surrounded by demons in the middle panel.
I got my splash.
But like her having a little song and him going, "Oh, that's Luna Snow." It's a bit like, "Oh, that's our other character." Like it just I didn't hate it. I just felt a little bit heavy-handed throughout that page, and then him going back to, "I don't think Sparrow will ever forgive you." It's like, okay, like we're getting a little bit more exposition, and I get it. There's not many pages to try and and she obviously wants to get the action in here and get us and drop us in media res and stuff. But some of it just felt a little bit heavy-handed to me.
Yeah, there's nothing that really grabs me about, especially with you talking the way you're talking about that dialogue is part of the reason why there's just nothing that grabs me about this character, May. And to be honest, there's nothing about Lei Lin's grabbed me yet either, outside of his visual design.
Yeah.
So.
That's right.
But so again, it's like I feel like they want me to like these characters, and I'm just kind of like they just seem a bit generic to me so far. I mean, I know Lin Lei. I mean, he has this whole backstory, obviously, which I haven't read because he's Swordmaster too. So yeah, I'm. I can see myself liking him in the future, but yeah, so far as supporting cast, I'm just confused and just like, oh right.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure that Mei Min could handle her own against these demons, but apparently she's that good because she wants to take on the role of being the Thunder of Kunlun. So I was actually just surprised that she was that good.
Oh, she has a stick.
Yeah, it's interesting in context because I mean, it wasn't that long ago that women had to train. If they were going to train, they had to do it in secret. So we don't really have context for what she's doing in that. Has it just been long enough that she's part of this next generation that would have been training all her life normally? It would have been nice to have that context at least.
I guess I just kind of assumed that she'd be training normally for ages because I don't know, in my head it's been a while since Immortal Iron Fist,
Yeah. It's hard to know, though.
It's the whole floating timeline thing.
Right.
Yeah, and remember, Danny in Immortal Iron Fist was 32, and then he turned 33 by the end of Brubaker and Matt Fraction's run, and then he transitioned into to the next run by Dwayne Swierczynski.
Yeah.
I pronounced his name right. So he, I don't think Danny, by this time he probably aged maybe 2 more years max. So it's just been 2 years.
Yeah,
since,
but I don't know if you can.
trained.
I don't know if you can apply that logic though.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's tough,
to
particularly with
characters
Kunlun,
aging.
because time in Kunlun is different anyway. So,
Well, yeah, that's
and
true. Yeah.
so it's impossible to know, really.
Like Spider-Man aged, I don't know, like 10 years after the Green Goblin fiasco. You know, it was definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely feels like more than that, and like it's supposed to be. Yeah, so I don't. Yeah, for me, it's like the characters don't age as much, but a lot of time does pass.
Yeah.
Because it has to, because of the amount of stuff that happens.
Yes.
So. Yeah. Anything else to say about this opening sequence, or shall we move on?
I was going to mention this at the end, but I have very little investment in this demon plotline. I don't really know what's going on.
I don't understand it fully. I know there's like splinters of his sword are in his arm.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was set up. Yeah, I've just been assuming this is something that was set up in his previous appearances, that Swordmaster fans would know, because it's just,
That's right.
Again, very little context. And we've had 2 demon fights so far that don't really they haven't seemed like challenges, really. They're just kind of casually fighting some demons. So it doesn't seem like it's a dangerous situation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the fact, is that they're chatting along does highlight that they don't seem to be having many
Supposed to
problems
be
with the
easy.
fight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just realized Mamie was able to hold her own against the demons, but Danny needed Lin Lee's help. Last issue.
Yeah.
I think
Right?
that's looking too much into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the tone is completely
Danny was in
different
a bar.
here.
He could have been drunk-ish.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Like this,
Yeah.
the demons
Could
are
have been
not
drinking
even.
his worries away.
That was like the introduction to all the demons are the big threat. This is just like they want to have Mei Min and Lin Lei chatting.
Yeah.
So let's have them fight some demons.
Just
so they
having
do
fun.
it, you know.
Fighting demons and
Yeah.
having a pretty good time at it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not like I'm saying like it's a bit weird writing wise, but I don't think it's a deliberate thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a staff too. So,
Yeah, she does.
You know.
I do like her outfit, if we're talking about things we like
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
that is cool.
Yeah. The outfit's very nice. I like the design.
I like the design and the colours. It's quite nice to have sort of like
The
red and
colours,
silver. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Yeah.
cut to the next part, which is in someone's apartment, and
Maybe.
so this is there's a few things going on here. I'll start. Daddy's expression in this first panel, right? I think we can all agree it's weird.
Yeah.
He has like his eyes are just tiny.
Luke looks like a blacksmith, and Pei's head is like she looks like a 4-year-old because her head's really big and her arms are tiny.
Yeah.
There's a random cat who looks derpy as well.
Yeah.
No idea whose cat it is.
And what's with this dish they're eating? So you have
She replaced Gork. She replaced Gork with this
With a
cat.
cat. Yeah. Well,
We
I
have-
think they're having mixed takeaway. I think some
Yeah.
are having dim sum, some are having pizza, although no one's got pizza in front of them.
yeah, you
like
think Luke
Danny
would be
and-
the pizza
Danny and-
guy, but
Well, Luke's pulling apart some chopsticks.
Exactly,
And he
yeah.
has rice. And so whose is the pizza? Just random left. Maybe that's Jessica's. Maybe
It's the cat's pizza.
well, until the cat would like it to be the cat's pizza.
Jessica doesn't want to be in the same room as Danny, so she's sulking.
Yeah. Pai's looking like she's got a
she's
bento
missing
box.
one.
No, they made up. They made up in that Defenders mini.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I
Yes,
read
they
that
did.
and I liked it, but I
Yeah.
barely remember it.
Well, the
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
important thing is that Danny and Jessica had a very good conversation and they made up. So,
Mhm.
Yeah. That was good.
And
Only
there was
thing
a
I didn't
fight.
like there was the
I don't-
Electra and the Iron Fist battle. And that's
yeah,
it.
but the drawing of it was amazing.
Yeah.
I know nobody likes
definitely.
the outcome, but the actual colouring was fantastic.
Yes.
And
yes, David Marquez is an amazing artist.
Colleen looks she looks more Irish than half Japanese.
Yeah, there is no way that this Colleen has any Asian in her, despite a Colleen. And Misty, just, I don't know. I don't even know what to make about that Misty.
Danny looks good in that one panel.
He looks okay in that one panel.
He looks okay.
I mean, I like when he channels Orson energy with his, like, you know,
that's a bit more Orson energy.
But then he goes back to, like, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo energy in the next panel, so...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. Literally, on the next page, no one is eating pizza. They're like...
It's still there.
Oh, no, Lucas.
Pai's eating pizza.
Wait, no, Lucas. Luke's having pizza just after his chopsticks.
And Pai's put... It looks like she's put dumplings on the pizza, so...
Oh, yeah.
So this was a gag. I'm down for that.
Yeah, I'm actually down for that. I'm okay with the mixed food. Or what if Danny's sitting on that sofa in that middle panel just looks... No.
Danny's complaining about being old.
Yeah.
His life is like mirroring mine as we both grow up. It's sad.
Yeah, you guys are closer to age than we are.
When I started reading on
Connor, we've got news for you. You'll be replaced by a younger guy. The youngest of us. So.
No, I mean I'm teaching at least, so he's not. But or maybe
he
is.
Maybe,
I don't know.
Maybe he'll take a hint from you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We're going into weird, like, Iron Fist is a Tulpa territory. So, Danny... So they're talking about how, like, they don't have the gates to Kunlun, and I had my angry keyboard arms ready. Like, well, actually, Danny learned how to teleport there by himself, but if he doesn't have the chi, then he can't do that, so...
Yeah, and I do like... Because it bothered me in the last issue that he couldn't get in. And so I do like that it's explained here that this is weird and that seemingly no one could get in except for Lynn and May.
It still bugs me.
Apparently.
Why? I made a tweet about it because I felt particularly sad after I read this issue. It's like, why is he cut off from Kunlun? Because they all seem happy in there. Why are you cutting him out? Like, for me, Kunlun
There's no reason to not let him be there, even as a former one.
It's not a job for him. Like, he grew up there, you know?
Yeah,
and it was like... It was crummy.
It's his home more than anywhere else.
But, you know, in recent runs, he did embrace it as, like, his home. And, you know, like, he had two homes and...
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he always has.
And
I mean, I was interpreting this as not that Sparrow changed the locks and he can't get in now. I was interpreting it as this is plot relevant and weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is not about him. This is...
Yeah, I didn't
wording
read that much into it.
To me.
Yeah,
yeah that this is some kind of plot relevant problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense at all for him to not be able to get in.
Danny's got a plan, and he thinks he knows he can ask for help, so this is where we take guesses. Doctor Strange is the obvious one, because he's gotten his help before. Or, it's Senor Magico.
Yes.
I mean, we've seen him go to Doctor Strange quite recently, or was that
before? Yeah.
And
I'm crossing my fingers that it might have something to do with either the other weapons or Miranda, because
that would be
fun to see them again.
Oh, yeah, Miranda. Hope she
I
comes
really
back.
miss Miranda.
Or what's his name? Fu.
Yeah.
Fu, yeah. But
I mean, we know
doesn't
the
look like
little
it's
weapons are
going
to be in it.
Fu, though.
Well, Pei mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we do know the other weapons are going to be in it. So.
Yeah.
But then, having said that, did you see the cover for? Is it the final one? For? Yeah, with Loki on the front. That's interesting.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the fifth one.
Yeah. Not that covers mean anything, but I do like Loki. So.
Was there any chance it was like a variant?
I don't think it was.
Right. That would be disappointing.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if it was kept to Iron Fist stuff, you know. But That being said, it's just Doctor Strange, but he was in it before, so
it could also be a variant.
Counts. The S-Man, Strange.
Mm-hmm. I love this implication that they're just gonna jump him when he gets out of the gate. They're all just gonna be there and just kind of grab him.
Yeah.
I kept waiting for that to happen in this issue. Maybe next time.
Kind of miss Vic. Not gonna lie. Victor Alvarez for you.
Oh yeah. It would be nice to have him back. But he's gonna be in the new Thunderbolts run.
Yeah.
Cool.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very weird Thunderbolt setup. So, right. But we're going to hear more about it.
So we go back to Kunlun and we have a familiar scene of Kunlun citizens getting angry because the Iron Fist is an outsider, and Linley's even more of an outsider than Danny because he didn't grow up there. So now some idiotic article. Scream Rant, whatever, was saying, oh, this is a subtle jab at Iron Fist's problematic origins.
I read that.
This has been a thing since, like, issue 2 or whatever, you know.
Yeah, this is a direct reference.
Yeah, like, Danny literally got attacked by a bunch of angry Kunlun citizens that he, you know, was facing, that he got to face the dragon, so, you know, I can't express how much I hate that man who wrote that article right now. Like, I hate these people write these stupid articles, whereas we put in some effort to be informative for those people out there, and these people write these articles talking out of their bottom, not actually familiar with the source material.
Yeah.
Just stop it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very funny with Moon Knight the last couple of weeks, but
yeah.
I mean, like we went through it with Iron Fist. We continue to go through it with Iron Fist. So it's
and
like,
it continues to be irritating.
because you know, they get more hits if they make ridiculous or hype up where people are angry. So they'll always emphasize points of like problematic things or things that people have complained about. There's no way of quantifying how many people have complained about things.
They never complained about it years ago.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the world has changed. I mean, people do complain about it, but people who read it complain about it in a different way to people who haven't read it. I think, and there's ways and means of writing these things to be factual or to sort of emphasize the problems.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time they're just stoking arguments. So.
Yeah. Well,
I really hate hearing that say, it's problematic origins. It's just that one really gets to me. Every time I see it.
I wasn't talking about Iron Fist in particular there.
Yeah.
And when I said problematic, I meant problems we have with it, not problems we have with any of these things. I didn't mean actual problematic in that way.
I mean, whenever I read it from articles, and it's almost always related to Danny's origins. So it just bothers me that why are you so bothered about his origin?
Yeah, no, look, we talked about it before. Like the people who started that whole movement have admittedly said they weren't fans of Iron Fist. They just wanted a movement.
That's true.
And as I've said before, as a martial artist, I hate that take. As someone who's trained in a hostile environment. Not that there should be any hostile environments, but they're still out there. And it's a stupid take. I hate it. And he wasn't a white savior because he left. Okay, like.
Yes.
But anyway.
Yeah, he just wanted revenge. It's not like he wanted to be just savior of an entire city.
No, and it's like the logic
he just wanted revenge.
A foreigner, a white person can't win a martial arts tournament. Is that the whole idea? Because, anyway. So, Sparrow intervenes and stops them fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, hey, cut it out. You both should be ashamed. And then we get to the family home of Mei Min. There's hands, shards, and stuff. Then we get...
Yeah, he's getting them out of his arm, isn't he, and recreating his sword.
Yeah.
I followed it that far.
So she starts talking about the famous female Iron Fist, Wu Shi. I don't know if she was an incredible Iron Fist, because she left too. But she didn't come back. She just left and became a pirate. So
yeah.
I mean, she's cool, but
she's super cool. But...
yeah, I love this mural. Yeah. I was hoping we would get into, because one thing that we never really got into in Immortal Iron Fist was the reason why she prompted the law of women not being able to fight, and I was hoping we would get that here.
Yeah, because that's surely the most important thing, is like, why did she cause that change?
Yeah.
Oh, did she cause that
change?
Because
she left? Yeah, I think it says in Immortal.
That's the implication.
That's when they all started,
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, they changed that with 10 million BC or whatever. But
I mean,
everyone's ignoring that.
It's hard to say.
Everyone is. Well, to be fair, like, most people are ignoring that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Proof of our history and what we could become again. I mean, in the terms of, like, women being allowed to fight, but in the terms of good Iron Fist, I don't know. Always. It's a really cool mural, though.
It's beautiful. And you have to wonder if there's one of each of them.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I would love that.
I wonder what they would choose for Danny's. Here's a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
Maybe the building
Knowing
fight.
like him being him being defeated by someone.
Oh god, him jobbing to Spider-Woman.
Oh no. Not that.
Oh god. So there's a big thing here. I like how she talks about the previous Iron Fist wanting to use his hands after they were pulverized, like the living weapon reference.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I really liked. I mean, any Iron Fist run that, particularly this one, that really digs into the history, is automatically gonna endear itself to me. So I really liked this scene. And I thought this was a really kind of compelling way of putting Lynn's story into that wider context.
I mean, this was probably my favorite page of the issue. Not because I love Sparrow, but this did a better job of explaining where things fit.
Yeah, and it emphasized. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just like who these people are, what's sort of like what can motivate them.
Yeah, and it gets into something that I've always really, really liked about Iron Fist, was the fact that every Iron Fist journey is slightly different. They engage with their powers differently, and they engage with the role differently, and their paths are different. And so I think putting this in that context, so seeing him presented very clearly as an outsider, as someone who is not seen to be worthy by the people of Kunlun, is important, and I was really glad we got that. And then also getting the fact that that this is that he's not just boom suddenly the Iron Fist, that he is still going to have to work at this, and this is going to be his very specific journey. Got me a lot more invested in his character. So I was really glad we got this.
Yeah. I was actually surprised by the previous pages, including this one, that Sparrow actually knew that he was Iron Fist for, I thought that nobody knew that he was Iron Fist except Min-Mei and her family, or maybe in her family. And when I saw it, and that he was already known as an Iron Fist throughout Kunlun without Danny knowing it. So that kind of felt weird to me, because if everybody in Kunlun knew, and even though Danny wasn't in Kunlun, I thought maybe Sparrow could have texted him or something. Hey, we have a new Iron Fist.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And yeah, that is one of my complaints about this series is, and I realize it's a mini series. There's only time for so many scenes, but I would have loved a scene with Sparrow and Danny, at least for him to say, hey, are you okay? This is a really... I mean, he gave up being the
It's very
Iron Fist.
important,
Don't do
yeah.
that. This is her childhood best friend. You'd think she would at least check in with him.
Yeah.
Like, maybe
Yes,
she did
exactly.
off panel, but I would have loved to actually get that.
Yes,
It
when
feels
the
weird.
Foundation is so shitty with Heart of the Dragon, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. They can
It
only
really
pick
messed up a
so many
lot.
pieces.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
oh, the shards, my hands.
Again.
So we have the Maze Demon Dad or whatever's going on there, and then we get a big intro to a guy, and I have no idea who he is. I mean, he says
Right.
who he is, but I still don't know.
Right. Don't know, don't really care.
Yeah.
He looks cool.
Oh, the
Yeah.
stone's
I like
been
his
broken.
look.
Oh no.
He looks a lot like a character from a series, Japanese anime. I think it's called Yu Yu Hakusho or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I got
some
a major...
character from there.
Yeah, I did get a major anime vibe from this last page. This is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
me too.
Yeah. And that's the issue. I mean, we didn't really go in depth with the plot and stuff because, I'm assuming you've read it. Otherwise, there's no real point listening. Like, so. I mean, yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't really like it either, though. I was just like, I just kind of read it and I'm like, oh, that was it. You know?
Yeah, it felt. I didn't. I just found it clunky.
Yeah. Well, it was better than the first issue, but I didn't think the
Well,
first issue was very good. So
Yeah.
For me, so we're giving our perspectives
Yeah.
on this issue now, the whole thing, right?
yeah,
So, for me, it's like the first half was about the friendship between Lin Li and Mei Min, and how their dynamic felt like it's like a teen comic, kind of like Teen Titans, but there's just two of them, and then as we went along, so there's bullies, and then we have this exposition, and I don't know if any of you felt this way, but like I was telling you guys in our chat group, I said I felt like I was being scolded at for being a traditionalist. Yeah, I mean, I said, I even shared this in my Iron Fist Friday the other day, and I said, it felt to me like I was Lin Li was being justified, and making him an Iron Fist was being justified by the writer here, and it felt to me like I was being told to stop being traditionalist, or at least stop thinking of Iron Fist as being like this, and we're now trying to break the mold of what it's like to be an Iron Fist. So it just didn't seem organic the way the changes was coming, and it's not like I remember Immortal Iron Fist changed the whole dynamic for Danny, and the whole Iron Fist lore and how it expanded on the mythology, and that was good. It felt natural, but Lin Lee still feels like an outsider to me, and unlike Danny and Orson, they at least spent time in Kunlun, and you could get behind it. Yeah, they're still basically foreigners, but they at least live there. Lin Lee, however, is even though he's Asian, he's really more of an outsider, because he, Shao Lao just suddenly rescued him from somewhere, and it's like you can be an Iron Fist now without going through the trials. You'll just be, if Shao Lao finds you anywhere in the world and he thinks you're worthy, he can just grab you, make you an Iron Fist, and the training can come later. And that felt to me like it was just such a big change. It's so hard to get.
Part of what makes Iron Fist so hardcore is like you have to take it.
And it felt like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah,
have to have
that's
the
like
drive
being
to take
forced
this.
into.
You
Yes,
know?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
You have to earn it. Even Thor had to earn the right to wield the hammer,
Yeah, it's not just,
and it
it's
wasn't just given to him.
it's physical skill, strength, and, like, your will to sort of take it, and that was always
Yes.
cool. But,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, I get you. I still think that might be addressed by the end, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I
It could be.
get your point. Yeah.
So we're given 3 more issues.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still have my reservations, obviously, but I actually really, I liked this issue a lot more than the first one. And maybe this is just because I'm very easily catered to, and because I was keeping my expectations very, very kind of,
Okay.
I don't know, I was,
Very low.
not low, but just, there's so much that I want out of the series that when I get some of it, I'm just like, yes. The first issue, it was okay, but as you guys mentioned, it was very expository. I didn't really get attached to any of the characters. But now that we're kind of past most of that exposition, we actually got into more of the journey and the actual characters, and I really appreciated that. And particularly, I appreciated the ways that this issue did specifically address some of the kind of the elephant in the room, instead of just ignoring it, as I was worried this series would. That we get that scene that's a direct callback to Iron Fist Volume 1, Issue 2, of Lin getting essentially bullied and attacked by people in Kunlun who point out that, yeah, he's an outsider. He didn't earn this. Other people deserve this a lot more than he does, which, is completely fair. Also, kind of echoes of Steel Serpent as well. So I wonder if, it'd be really interesting to get his perspective on this. So getting that scene, I think, was really important. And then, like I mentioned before, directly engaging with the Iron Fist legacy, and suggesting the idea of change and particularly I thought that was interesting coming from Sparrow, because that is something that's so close to her heart, the idea of change, because she was so directly involved in the recent changes in Kunlun, which have been for the better.
Yes.
And so looking at this as, well, he's on this journey now, and just because he didn't become the Iron Fist the traditional way, he can still go through that process. And it will be different for him, but it will still be challenging. And I think that's, like you mentioned, Omar, that's so important. Because Pei essentially got the Chi of Shallow essentially the same way, but even still, I loved that in Immortal Iron Fists, Carrie Andrews had that scene at the end where she fought the dragon.
Yes.
So that she still had to go through something like the process.
I hated that.
So,
yes.
She was way too young. Like, it didn't make any sense for me. But sorry, I just had to chime in there.
But yeah, so I was really appreciated the fact that those things were addressed, and that having those things addressed made me a lot more interested in accepting and following his journey. Obviously, I still want Danny back, but at least for the duration of this miniseries, which is this creative team's, that's their goal, is to get people to read the miniseries. They can't control what happens beyond that. It got me interested in Lin's journey, and how he's going to be situated within the legacy, if he will be, and more interested in his character in general, because I'm interested in the Iron Fist legacy. The idea that he's engaging with it in some way, or that the people around him are making him engage with it in some way, makes me a lot more interested in him. And then I just, even if it was just for 2 pages, I liked seeing Danny and the gang again. And I'm glad that they're a part of this. I like the idea of them, as much as I think Danny should be more in the loop for this, there's something I really enjoy as well that's kind of fun to me about them kind of sleuthing out, who the hell is this guy from the outside, and that being a plot line as well. So yeah, there was a lot more in this issue for me to actually engage with as an Iron Fist fan. So I mostly enjoyed it. I think I'm interested now, and we'll see if that lasts. But really, yeah.
And I think we were all we all want to like him. I don't think that's a question. Everybody, every Iron Fist fan would like to like this character. We just need a reason to, I guess.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Because up to this point, he still feels like Swordmaster. Even his journey and the battles that he's been going through, it's been, it's still Swordmaster. It's not. It still doesn't feel like he's inserted into the Iron Fist lore just yet.
Yeah, so, and I thought it was interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm good.
I thought it was interesting that this issue did kind of emphasize, when the Chief of Shaolao isn't working for him, he in that first fight, and then also when he's fighting the guy in Kunlun, that it emphasizes the people he's trained with as Swordmaster. That he doesn't really feel like it's made very clear that it doesn't really feel like, he's not like Danny or any of the other Iron Fists who, trained in Kunlun, being the Iron Fist is their identity. That he's got this entire other identity that this is now being kind of slapped on top of, and it feels a little bit weird. And I thought it was interesting that this issue kind of leaned into that. I don't know how I feel about it, but I thought it was interesting.
Yes.
Rebecca?
Oh, sorry. I enjoyed it reading it back now more than I did when I first read it. Well, the first time I was a little bit tired, and there's a huge amount of dialogue I think is really clunky, especially at the beginning, which kind of put me off enjoying the back half of the comic more. Mm-hmm. But I agree that once we got past the fights and into a bit, I feel like I know him better. I still do want to like him, and I just want to. I don't know how much of the exposition I need in order to do that. But I don't think I need to know his full backstory. I just literally need I've got these shards in my thing. They're supernatural. I need to get them out, and they hurt, and I can't, and they're from my sword. But the friendship still too confusing, and but I'm looking forward to the next few issues, finding out exactly what's going to happen. It was nice to see the gang all back together again, and I appreciate Pei's taste in pizza.
Yeah. So we've said everything Carl wanted us to say, except that Danny looks like adult Naruto in most of his panels.
Yes, he does.
Which makes me sad.
Unfortunately, he does.
I believe that wraps us up. So next time we should be doing Heroes for Hire 8 and 9. Fun.
Yes.
So I think it's about to be the start of a new arc or something. So that'll be good. So thanks again, Emma, for joining us.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
Thank you, Emma.
No, as always, it's great. Is there anything you want to plug?
Sure. Yeah, I can. I'm mostly active on Tumblr. I have an Iron Fist blog there called Book of the Iron Fist. So bookoftheironfist.tumblr.com, where I post Iron Fist related things. Specifically of interest for Netflix Iron Fist fans, I'm actually finishing something that I started 3.5 years ago, which is a kind of scene by scene, so often line by line, which is why it's taken me so long, deep dive analysis into Iron Fist Season 1, which is my favorite, one of my favorites out of all the seasons of any of the shows. Nice. I'm particularly interested in this iteration of Danny's origin arc, his journey, as well as the engagement with the source material and themes and the concepts they go into, and iterations of how they address these characters, and just Easter eggs and fun stuff. So that's something I'll probably be doing for the next few months, because it's a lot. So
yeah,
that's a thing.
Cool.
So you can find me there. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that about wraps us up. So until next time, may your hands be in agonizing pain as sword shards fly out of them.
Thanks.
See ya.
Yes. Very good.
Hey guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Iron Fist and all other characters in these comics are properties of Marvel and Disney. Any music or images we use belong to their respective copyright holders. We do this for fun, so please don't sue us. You can contact us at sonsofthedragonpodcast@gmail.com. Just send us mail, comments, thoughts, anything you want really. It doesn't even have to be related to Iron Fist. If you don't want it read on the air though, make sure you mention that. You can also find us on Facebook, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast, Sons of the Dragon. Our Twitter, at Iron Fist Podcast. Our SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Sons of the Dragon. Hyphens where the spaces are. Our YouTube, Connor Carl. Just search Iron Fist Podcast and you'll find us real quick. We are also on iTunes. If you find us there, give us a review and rate us. If it's less than 5 stars, please say why so we can improve the show. And we're on Podcast Garden in the literature section. And last but not least, head over to our WordPress, Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast.wordpress.com. That's where I put all the show notes. I'd like to thank Thomas Tissot for composing the Iron Fist theme song we use at the start of our Iron Fist episodes on the podcast. I'd also like to thank Peter John Sikowski for composing the Power Man and Iron Fist theme we use at the start of our Power Man and Iron Fist episodes. And finally, thanks to you guys for listening.